Hello all, welcome to the JavaScript for Pentesters course at Pentester Academy. Now in this video, we will continue with looking at objects in JavaScript and look at how to enumerate object properties. Now we are going to take up the base code which we had created in the previous video. So if you haven't had a look at that, please go back, try out the example, and we will use that example as a base to extrapolate further. So I had shown you how to create objects, define properties and methods. Now apart from the regular way, you can also create methods for a given object in an interesting way. So let's say we want to create a method called isVulnerable. So we can do that by calling the name of the object, which is vulnerable, and then use the prototype keyword and then define the method name. So let's say is vulnerable, and let's keep this really simple. You can just define a very simple method which is going to alert XSS, and there we go, right? And for the time being, we can go ahead and probably remove the previous alert box which we were displaying. And now let's call isVulnerable. So this would be one.isVulnerable. There we go. Let's launch the HTML file. And if you notice, we see our XSS in the alert prompt. So this is also another interesting way by which you can define methods in objects. Now, let's come to enumerating object properties. So there are primarily three ways. The first includes using the foreign approach, with which you can enumerate properties of an object as defined in arbitrary order, and as far as each distinct property is concerned, you can execute specific statements. The full documentation is available here. Let's quickly implement foreign. So let me remove this isVulnerable call. And now let me implement basically. So let's say for each property which we can call prop in one, let's go ahead and alert the property name followed by the actual value of the property. There we go. Hopefully there aren't any typos. You can go back in here, launch the HTML file, and we see that the very first property is description, and that has the value XSS in PHP BB. The next one is the CV ID, and then of course after that you have the methods which are defined. Alert vulnerability details, this is how it is defined, followed by isVulnerable, right? So this is a very common way by which we can iterate through properties. Now let's look at other ways as well. Now the foreign approach goes ahead and provides properties which are there in the prototype chain as well. Now if you're only interested in the object's own enumerable properties, then you need to use object.keys. So let's go ahead and implement that. I'm going to remove this code. Or we could keep it, doesn't matter. So I'm going to use object.keys and then pass on the object itself. v1, and there we go. So this is just going to go ahead and return the keys. Let's go in here. Of course, this is the first part of the code, which is the foreign loop. And now, if you notice, we are being returned the property names. So you have description, CVID, alert, vulnerability details, so on and so forth. Now, similarly, the last approach is basically to use get own property names. Again, we can use a little alert box and actually have object.get own property names, and inside this we give one. Here we go, and we can remove all of these really, just so that output isn't cluttered. Go back in here, so refresh this page, and there you go, right? Fantastic. So this is how you can enumerate different properties from within an object, and this is going to come in very handy when we look at different objects present in the DOM, which we will take up in the next video. So if you're enjoying your time here at Pentester Academy, then we would really appreciate if you can recommend us to your friends and colleagues in the InfoSec community. Thank you.